What is up, Coastal Smoke Nation, and welcome to this special Labor Day episode here on the Coastal Smoke Podcast. And if you were like me a little bit this weekend, you were probably one of them couch potatoes. So, yeah, we're going to dive into the big winners and the big losers this week. And there is a lot to discuss and a lot to talk about, and especially the four games. We are 4 or 5, but let's say we'll say 5 games are about ready to hit hard here on the podcast today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Who was the big winners and who was the big losers to begin the college football season? Well, if we're going to talk about the biggest loser of the weekend, it is definitely the Alabama Crimson Tide, who absolutely got pushed around by the Florida State Seminoles. The biggest winner? I think there is two teams worthy of this award this weekend. But I know Ohio State and Ohio State fans are going to say we beat number ranked Texas. Number one ranked Texas. You guys are going to say Ohio State should be the biggest winner of the week. Well, I do agree with that, and I see your guys' point, but you guys are probably going to think this is the most bandwagon pick of all time of the biggest winner of the weekend. I'm going to go, the biggest winner of my weekend was my LSU Tigers. They went into Clemson, South Carolina, finally broke the 5-year losing streak, and looked dominant in that performance Saturday night. So, the biggest winner of the week, the LSU Tigers, and the biggest loser of the week, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, yeah, we're going to dive into them games a little bit more here, but yeah, those are just my biggest winner and biggest loser takeaways of the weekend. So, there's that part of the show, and I'm sure you Ohio State fans probably don't agree too much on that, but let's just go over this thought process I was thinking right here. I mean, yes, it is a really great accomplishment to beat the number one team and have them start out 0-1. Yes, it's great to go into Ohio Stadium and beat Texas, the number one ranked team. I think what's even what kind of puts LSU over the ledge of Ohio State right here is that LSU, like, they're going into Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina. They're going into that fake Death Valley. And they had maybe about 5,000-6,000 fans in attendance up there. They're sitting in level 326 where you need binoculars probably just to see the ball game. So the LSU contingent, I mean, they're in level 326 up here. Just a little section of purple and gold up here. And sputtered around the top section. You got all these ruckus Clemson fans all over the bottom row and everything. So you got the Tigers, the Clemson Tigers, their fans just on the road ready for this top 10 matchup. All the Brian Kelly haters are tuning in watching this, hoping Brian Kelly fails. And then what does LSU do in that ball game? They absolutely look dominant. I mean, 10 points. The defense gives up 10 points. I mean, the offense scores 17, but we'll dive into the scoring a little bit and my takes. But yeah, I mean, coming in there, all odds against the Tigers. You come in there and it just felt like LSU absolutely dominated the entire ball game all night. Klubnik was uncomfortable, and I mean, uh, on the last couple shows, I mean, I was pumping sunshine and how the Tigers were going to win this one, and I'm kind of glad they backed it up for me here, so I don't look as stupid on my last couple of shows where I was pumping all the sunshine in the Tigers, and uh, I'm going to say I was worried a little bit that game a little bit at sometimes, but there is nothing like college football, and I think LSU's legit this year. So that's my thoughts. Quick thoughts, real quick. So I really don't have a plan of where this show's going to go today. I know we are talking about college football here. It's a little early in the morning here when I'm doing this podcast, so a little out of my element a little bit here, and I have my breakfast Mountain Dew here. So yeah. Yeah, and go Tigers. The Tigers won, so of course you gotta put that Mountain Dew Zero in that Tiger koozie. I did not get to watch many. I did not get to watch them much of those Friday night college football games here, but just a quick thought on some of these Friday night games. I was able to catch the last minute or two of the ball game there, last couple minutes of it. But man, I seen a couple games that night. Just terrible clock management. I know it's week one, but man, I think it was Colorado in late in that ball game. I mean, you have to go down and score a touchdown, and Dion, he ain't calling his timeouts. I mean, that's terrible clock management, cause buddy, you cannot you're not allowed taking them timeouts to the next ball game with you. So I mean, just use your timeouts, get the right play call in, and then try to go score that tying touchdown or whatever. But yeah, and then there was maybe it was a Baylor and the Auburn game. I mean, once again, terrible clock management. So that terrible clock management. I mean, it was like I watched the end of that Baylor and Auburn game. Terrible clock management. Then it's, well, let's finish watching up this Georgia Colorado game. Terrible clock management. So there was just some terrible clock management on a couple of the Friday night games, and that was just kind of my takeaway point from them ball games because I wasn't able to watch them all. So there was probably some great moments in this game and some tough moments in the games, but terrible clock management at the end of the game. And I mean, I'm sure both teams will work on that a little more. And the first game of the year is always usually rough. You see teams burning early timeouts and teams with unforced penalties and just the little things sometimes just add up, and you ain't as sharp on week one, and you just move on to that in week two, and most of it, I think the sharpness level this week was good, but when you're not as sharp, I mean, when you're playing the top 5, top 6, top 10 team in the country, I mean, you're going to make mistakes, and it's not like you're playing Southern Utah Tech the first week of the year and have a early season easy win. So, I mean, you might play Utah Tech the first game of the year, but I mean, it wasn't. But I mean, you play a top 10 team right off the bat, like a couple of these games, and some of these teams did. You're going to see a couple mistakes add up a little bit here. So, I mean, it's going to be fixable. A lot of positives for all these teams. Yeah. I think before I get on too long of a rant here, I think we we need to start breaking these ball games down. So um, let's begin with the Fox Big Noon kickoff game of the day. So yeah, you got the number one ranked Longhorns of Texas, Archer Manning coming in there to the shoe. And then you got the Ohio State Buckeyes, OH. You got the Buckeyes coming off the national championship run last year, the 2024 national champions. So you got a big 1-3 matchup early in the ball game right here. The 1-3 matchup early in the week right here. And then my takeaway from this ball game, I do not know how good this recap of this ball game is going to be, because I do not know how good this recap's going to be, because I was all right. This might be all right. We're going to figure it out, because I got a little fog brain this morning, I guess, or I was watching this with some buddies. Shout out to Casey Moore. And Casey Moore, they just got married, so I was watching this ball game at the wedding venue with them. Shout out to them. There's 2 Casey Moores living in town, so shout out to them. That's awesome. Congratulations, you two. I had to get that out of the way here. So I was at the wedding watching this ball game a little bit, so I don't know how good this breakdown's gonna be. But my initial thought on this ball game is, on the Ohio State side, Ohio State's gonna be just fine this year. So I think if you were a little worried about the Buckeyes, I think you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. Uh, it's I think, yeah, you're gonna be just fine. I liked what I seen out of Julian saying. I know he didn't go out there and pass for 350 yards, and eight touchdowns, but you're gonna be just fine on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I think it was Cornell Tate had a touchdown reception in that game. You got excuse me. That sounded really, really weird in my headphones. So, excuse me. That was not supposed to happen. Like I said, Cornell Tate, he had a touchdown in the end zone. He had a touchdown in that ball game. Crap, it's who I'm thinking about. Oh my gosh, I mean, you also got some of the, I cannot remember. I mean, it's on the top of my head. I mean, is it Jeremiah Smith? If I'm remembering correctly here, it is really early in the morning, and I just wanted to have a podcast. Cornell Tate, man, it has to be. Okay, it is Jeremiah Smith. I mean, I watched a ball game last night, and there was another guy named Jeremiah Love on there. I knew it wasn't that guy, but I cannot remember Jeremiah Smith's name for the wreck of me. I'm sorry, Buckeye fans. If you see me out in public this week, please give me a hard time about that. Please give me a hard time about that. So, and I know you guys will, so I'm not worried about getting a hard time for not remembering Jeremiah Smith's name. I'm not worried about it for you guys giving me a hard time, but I mean, you got Jeremiah Smith, not sure if he did score a touchdown, but you got him, one of the best wide receivers in the country there. And then my biggest takeaway wasn't really the offense in that game. It was what the defense did. It was what the defense did against Texas here. Um, Sarkisian, he came out early in the ball game and said, I'm not willing to kick the football this game. I'm not kicking the football this game. Sarkisian, he said, I'm not going to kick the football. I'm not kicking the football. I'm not kicking the football. But Ohio State has an early chance to get off the field. I think Texas got that fourth down conversion. So it's like, well, Texas is going to be really, they're going to go for it every time and be really aggressive on the offensive side of the ball. Well, Texas is driving in that ball game. Momentum. It looks like Texas is going to grab early momentum early in the ball game. What does Ohio State do? Ohio State, goal line stand on fourth down, gets a stop, and takes over on downs. So number one, that's huge. Later in the ball game, Ohio State does it again inside the 10. I think it was 5 times that Ohio State stopped Texas on downs, and 2 times was inside the 10-yard line. So that is my big takeaway right there. It is what the defense did. I think the Buckeyes offense, you're gonna be just fine. Saying just a redshirt freshman getting his first start in the shoe, of course it's gonna be hard. Early in the ball game, you're playing freaking Texas. Of course, your offense is gonna look a little sluggish, maybe. Of course, your quarterback probably ain't gonna be in the greatest amount of flow earlier in a week 1 game against Texas. So I think the offense is fine, because I think next week against Grambling, Saban's going to really show what he can do. He's going to air it out. He's going to run. It's going to be his big game that says, I'm here in college football. I'm here. I'm here to lead one of the best programs in the nation back to a national title. Saban's going to be all right. The defense, I really like the defense. I really like what Ohio State did. I really like Ohio State this season after watching that ball game. I really like this, and I'd planned to pull up. I'm gonna pull up some of these team schedules here. I really like Ohio State won that football game. I really like where Ohio State, the direction, especially after that win, where the Buckeyes are going. I think you got, Illinois ranked number 12, maybe. That might be a tougher one. That might be a tough game. Ohio State's going to pull that one out. I think Ohio State's just too good and the rankings don't really matter when you're looking 5 weeks, 6 weeks down the line here. But, I think Ohio State, Penn State, that's going to be a really good game. I like Ohio State in that ball game. I just feel like Penn State probably ain't going to feel like Ohio State just got the voodoo over Penn State right here. So that one's even at Ohio State. So that helps too when you're playing a team of Penn State's caliber as well at Ohio Stadium. But you beat them last year. I think Ohio State is just fine looking at the schedule. Of course, we don't like to talk about that team up north, the Michigan Wolverines. We don't like to talk about them much, but that we'll see what happens. I'm not going to make the early season prediction for that game yet, but right now I'm rooting for Ohio State in that ball game, so I am rooting for them. But after that Texas win, I really like Ohio State's schedule here. I really do. Ohio State has a really good schedule here. They gotta go to Washington this year. Washington's going to be improved, I think, but Ohio State wins that one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good promise for this Ohio State team, is what I seen on Saturday afternoon. As for Texas, I thought, man, Manning. I did not think Arch Manning looked very good at all in that ball game right there. I mean, I know it's not his first start, but I know it's not his first start, and he got to play a lot last year, but I just don't think he looked very good. But it's not like I think Texas' schedule is a lot harder than it is going to be difficult at times this year. But I think Arch Manning is going to settle into what he needs to do. So I think Arch Manning he'll settle down. He'll have a good year. So I'm not really entirely concerned over what Arch Manning did. It's just I was kind of shocked of I mean, all leading up is all you heard in the media and stuff is how great Arch Manning is going to be, and he just didn't really live to up to that in week one, and Texas just shut out to limited to 7 points there. So tough way to start if you're a Longhorn fan. So that's my takeaway of the big noon kickoff Fox game of the day. And yeah, I am glad to see the Buckeyes win that one, and especially after Lee Corso put that Brutus hat on for the final time of the year. So for the final time ever, Lee Corso puts the Buckeye head on. It's the last pick ever on College Game Day. So it's kind of cool to see him pick the Buckeyes, and the Buckeyes go out and do what they did against Texas. All right, and then we got to the 3:30 game. Wasn't able to watch much of it, but Florida State just absolutely dominated the Alabama. Alabama just got. I mean, I'm not real sure if hardly Alabama even had a lead in that ball game. Didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. I've watched bits and pieces of it, but I think you might if you're an Alabama fan right now, I'm probably a little concerned. Not the way you wanted to start another. Not the way you wanted to start the season under Kalen DeBoer's second year. It felt like it was just Florida State. Every time I took a peek of it, it was Florida State was about ready to score a touchdown, or Florida State was in the end zone. At one point, this game was 24-7. 24-7. And if you remember correctly, that was an awful Florida State team from a year ago. They were just awful. And I know Florida State cannot be that bad anymore. They can't be that bad. Florida State cannot. They ain't going to be 2-10 this year like they were last year. They're not going to be that bad. But to see, I guess it's surprising to see Alabama like this early in the year, because a Nick Saban Alabama team, when they got off the bus to head into the stadium, whoever they were playing, that game felt like it was just over already. It felt like they get off that team bus heading into the stadium under a Nick Saban led team. It just felt like Alabama was already going to win that game. They had all the swagger. It was just like everything it was just that they knew nothing. They did not know how to lose. And when they did, it was like a shock to the entire country. Now, when it feels like Alabama gets off the bus, feels like the teams they are playing are licking their chops because Alabama is not this Nick Saban dynasty anymore. And every team knows now that they have a chance at Alabama. They know they don't have to be superhuman or do anything to beat Alabama now. When it was Nick Saban at Alabama, it felt like you had to have superhuman powers, and it looked like you had to have the Hulk and Superman and Spider-Man on your side to beat Alabama. Now it's like you don't need the Incredible Hulk or Superman or Spider-Man to beat Alabama. It's just do what we do well, and we're going to have a chance to beat Alabama. That's the way the other teams feel now, and that's what Florida State did. Florida State goes in. That was a home game for Florida State. But Florida State ain't going to be as bad as they were last year. And that's a massive, massive win over an 8th-ranked Alabama team for Mike Norvell's Florida State Seminoles. But I mean, look at that at Florida State. I mean, can they make a run? I think they can. I mean, oh boy, I did not look up. I was looking at Clemson and Miami records last night. Miami dodges Clemson. Clemson dodges Miami. They both dodge each other. Um, this is just rough if you're Florida State. I mean, I think it's a good schedule for them. But man, you got a game at Clemson and versus Miami, so that's tough. And then Florida. So there's a lot tougher games on Florida State's schedule than there is on Clemson or Miami's schedule. So, but we seen what Miami does. That there's always a game where they kind of you about seen what Miami did last night is blow a 10-point lead in 5 minutes. Seen it about Miami just lose that game last night, and I was watching it and I was like, here Miami goes again. They go 3 and out, get the ball with 5 minutes, go 3 and out quick, and then it's like Notre Dame goes down there and scores. So then you're at a tie ball game, and it's like, if you're a Miami fan and you're like me, it's like, oh no, here we go again. So yeah, but Miami, I mean, they're vulnerable for a loss. Clemson still got to play South Carolina, but they could go 11-0 the rest of the year. But I think the 3 best teams in that league are definitely Clemson, Miami, and Florida State. So we'll see what happens there. But a big win for the Florida State Seminoles over Alabama, and we all know how the SEC goes, and how it is. Alabama's gonna face a gauntlet throughout the rest of the year, and there is not much room for error for the Alabama Crimson Tide to they lose another ball game here, and they're probably playing for their life. So yeah, just a tough way to start for Alabama. All right, now we're getting into my favorite part of the show. It's when we get to talk about the LSU Tigers. We've been over noon. We've been over the 3:30 game. Um, at that point, we were just waiting for that 7:30 game. It was kicked off at 7:52 actually, but we were treated to a really good one Saturday night between the LSU Tigers and the Clemson Tigers. So, in a battle of Tigers, in a battle of Death Valley, the LSU Tigers are 1-0 for the first time since Joe Burrow played at LSU. And they look legit. We already know who the real Death Valley was, but we confirmed that Saturday night. We confirmed it Saturday night. We determined who has the best Tiger mascot. We confirmed that Saturday night. I mean, we confirmed a lot of things Saturday night. And it was one of them things where LSU stood up and said to the college football world, we are here. We are here, and we are not going on. We are not going anywhere. Big statement win for the Tigers. All odds are against you. The Brian Kelly haters have their popcorn ready, have their Mountain Dew Zeros ready, eating their popcorn, drinking their pops, hoping Brian Kelly just fails miserably. I mean, you've seen that all on the media all week. You've seen it all on the media leading up to that game. How great Clemson was. You just heard all week how great the Clemson offensive line was. How great their receivers were. How great Clyde Klubnik was. How great the running back was. How great the defense was. How great Clemson was. How they're national power title contenders. How they're going to do this. How they're going to do that. How blah, 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 blah. You heard it all week. Clemson 42-6. Clemson 49-7. Clemson by 3 touchdowns. Klubnik's thrown for 300 yards. TJ Moore's having a breakout game with 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're just hearing all that stuff all week, and what happens? The LSU defense and Garrett Nussmeier's LSU offense happened. And all the Brian Kelly haters, all the Clemson lovers can go back into their hole and stay there for the rest of the season. Because you know what? LSU just said, we are here, we're a national title contender, and that's what I exactly believe. I believe LSU can win the national title this year. They might be the best team in the SEC. We seen a lot of things Saturday night that said, we are here, this is our year. This is why Garrett Nussmeier came back to LSU, is to lead the Tigers to a national title. That is why Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins put in all that work, rehabbing, coming back from injuries, to come back and win a national title. That is why LSU went into the transfer portal, got receivers like Barry and Brown, Nick Anderson. That's why you went to a transfer portal on defense and got players. They expect to win a national title this year. And I believe that is going to happen after what they did at Clemson. And I know the score was only 17-10. LSU dominated that game. LSU absolutely dominated that game. And if LSU would have took the points at the end of the first half, if they would have connected on that field goal in the second half, if they would not have had that touchdown called back in the second half, I mean, you're looking at a 30-10 victory for LSU. 30-10. And I mean, the defense pitched a shutout in the second half. You held Clemson to 10 points in the entire ball game. And even, like I said, even though you scored 17 points yourself, you absolutely dominated that game. Absolutely just dominate. LSU said they were here. And I mean, the scoring started. Clemson, of course, got the field goal to begin to start the scoring off. And LSU tied the game at 3 with a field goal of themselves. Clemson then scores a touchdown there. They're up 10-3 late in the first half, and then LSU was driving in that second quarter late in the ball game, and it just feels like you've seen it week one ever since Brian Kelly been at LSU. It's a couple less than, you had 15 or 16 seconds there. Fourth down. Take the points. I do not know why we didn't not take the points right there. Take the points. Go for it on fourth down. You actually fumble on the play. Clemson got the momentum in the second half. Then you ain't getting the ball in the second half because you received the opening kick. But it's like the defense got to make a stop. The defense does make a stop. And that felt like Clemson had momentum going into the half there, but the LSU defense came out, said, nope, we ain't letting you score. They didn't. And the rest was kind of history that night. LSU, Caden Durham find the end zone. He tied the ball game at 10, third quarter. And then let's get let's just start getting to the bad call here. I mean, it was an awesome catch. Oh, it was just an incredible. It was a dime thrown by Garrett Nussmeier. Just a perfectly placed football. Barry and Brown catches it. Just incredible catch for Brown. And somehow they say he never caught the football. I mean, that was just, it felt like at that point in the game, that was a game-changing call right there. I mean, that was a horrible call. That was just absolutely a horrendous. That was probably one of the worst calls of the weekend. One of the worst calls. Actually, I'll say it was the worst call of the weekend. That was just a terrible call. Terrible call. I don't know what a catch is anymore, but if that's not a catch, I don't know how. I mean, perfectly placed ball. Barry and Brown catches the football. Gets a foot in bounds. Gets the ball over the goal line. for a touchdown, and as he's going out of bounds, evidently they're saying that the ball, he did not survive the ground with the ball. I mean, number one, he caught the football in bounds. Number two, I believe he made a football move. Number three, he got the ball over the goal line in the end zone while somehow staying in bounds. That is a 6 points for the Tigers. And the announcers in the ball game said, they said, that's a touchdown. The rules expert in the booth said, that's a touchdown. And then you got a bunch of, then I don't know if they review that at the stadium or somewhere else. But that was a highway robbery of 6 points. I do not know how that was not a catch and a touchdown. My gripe is, he was in bounds and he got the ball over the goal line. Once that ball goes over the goal line, it does not matter what happens. I mean, he had firm control of the football. He had firm control of the football, getting it over the goal line. I think he might have even touched the pylon with the football. In my book, that's a touchdown. I mean, and it looked like a touchdown to me, and I think a lot of us can agree that's a touchdown. That's just a terrible call right there. I thought there was some, I think, early in the first half just. And I hate just, I know reffing's a hard situation, and I hate going off about refs, but I'm going off about refs right now, because especially you gotta be better in college. College refs have to be better. I mean, that was an SEC crew ref in the game. That is what LSU's going to see for 8 or 9 games the rest of the year. An SEC crew. And I know that crew does not want to be biased and give LSU all the calls. I understand you don't want to show your SEC bias, but the way LSU was not getting a call in that football game, it felt like it was just horrible officiating all night long going against LSU. I think it was the first half. The touchdown Clemson scored. Offensive pass interference. You set a pick play. And then the refs, the thing that gets me about that is the refs throw the flag. All right, yeah, he picked them I know it was borderline where you could call it, where you can't call it. I understand that part. The refs throw the flag in the air. The refs throw the flag. And then, like every other game, they show Dabo just his little antics on the sidelines, his little complaining, his little antics, or whatever you want to call them on the sidelines. The TV shows that. A couple minutes later, the refs say there was no pass interference and it's a Clemson touchdown. That was another horse crap call in the game. Just a terrible call. That was awful. You gotta be better than that. I mean, I understand it's borderline right there, but you called it on the field, and a couple minutes later, you pick it up because Clemson's over there crying that it happened where in the borderline zone. I think that was a terrible call. The guy's going to score a touchdown 10 times out of 10 if you let an offensive guy do that to the defensive guy. 10 times out of 10, that guy's off to the races and touchdown. So did Clemson's offense really score 10 points that game? No. I think the final score was 17 3, LSU over Clemson, to 7 points for the refs. All right, I might be over my tangent, but yes, that was just a terrible call. And there was call. I mean, I know you gotta play the game too, and there was some situations where LSU should have been up 10 points or up 3 points in that game. I understand that part too. You didn't. There was some things on LSU's side that they could control that they just didn't. So, yeah, just on the referee in that game, just I wasn't real happy with it. So had to get that out of the way a little bit. But yeah, and I thought in the second half for LSU, especially the fourth quarter, the clock management was great. I mean, I was telling myself, LSU has the ball running down a couple minutes. If you just get in field goal range and kick a field goal up 7 points, I was all right with that. Like 8 minutes left in the game, up 17-10. I said I'm all right with LSU going down there and just kicking a field goal, go up 10 points. Because then that says, well, Clemson's going to have to go actually score a touchdown at some point in the second half when LSU's defense was just all over them and it felt like Clemson just couldn't do nothing. And how about the 6'7" Trey Green for LSU? It has to be, game-winning touchdown for Trey Green to give the Tigers the 17-10 lead and eventually the game-winning score. I mean, Clemson can't guard that. They couldn't guard them in the end zone right there. I mean, I think teams are going to have struggle, but great play. I mean, goal line fade right there. I mean, just throw it up to the 6'7" guy and just let him make the catch, and that's what he exactly did. So having Trey Green as a tight end right there, I mean, definitely helps in the goal line situations, and that's where LSU just needs to be a little better at this year. Is inside the 10 and the 20. Got to find a way to score points, and I think for the most part they did find a way to score points inside the red zone. Other than the first half when they should have took the field goal. Should have took the field goal when they had the chance to take points at the half. There's probably not a much difference between. You still have to score a touchdown. If you're trailing 10-6, there's some difference right there. But other than that play, I mean, you did what you needed to do inside the red zone all night. It's just frustrating as a fan just to have points waiting on you right there, and you just don't take the opportunity to take the points. So that's just frustrating right there. But heck of a ball game by the Tigers all night. I mean, you seen why Garrett Nussmeier in that ball game. You seen why he's going to be I think he's the number one over. I think he could be the number one overall pick in the NFL draft. You seen Nussmeier's poise. He didn't make mistakes. That's the thing he did last year was he kind of tried to make too many of the home run plays when sometimes taking a sack or just a 2-yard gain is going to be all right. So Nussmeier was just he looked good. There was one pass he threw for like -7 yards. That was the only negative play. But Nussmeier looked in his element. Looked like why he's going to be a high draft pick. Why he's in the running why he's leading to win the Heisman Trophy this year. He looked good. Caden Durham in the running back position. That dude's just going to get scarier as the season goes on. just a freshman last year, so he's a sophomore this year. He's just going to get scarier, folks. So, you better watch out for Caden Durham. Um, and then the question mark in this game was, what was the offensive of line going to look like? They really, yes, you have practice, and I said this before. Yes, there's practice, but what are you able to do? They kind of need them game reps to gel together a little bit, but uh, they had four brand new starters on the offensive line, so I mean the offensive line held up well, and I was happy to see that, because if they can hold up like they did against Clemson, they're going to be fine the rest of the year, and they're only going to get better. So I was just kind of interested to see how the offensive line was going to hold up, and they held up well and was able to protect Garrett Nussmeier. So the offensive line position is just fine, and I'm happy of what they showed as well. And then on the last play of the football game, fourth down, Clemson's driving. I love what Blake Baker called. I love the call what he did. He let Harold Perkins just find able to get to the outside of the field there, and have Perkins just go straight after Cade Klubnik. Just go find Cade Klubnik, put that spy on him, or whatever it's called. But if he finds Klubnik, Klubnik forces a pass, ball game over. Incomplete pass, ball game over. I love it. And I think Blake Baker's going to there's going to be times in this year where he calls a play, and it's a play for Harold Perkins, and it is pretty much just go screw it up, go find the quarterback, just go screw something up in the backfield. Because if I had a player like that, I'd just say, Perk, go screw something up in the backfield, and we'll be just fine. So that's what happened. Is Perk just went after Klubnik, forced bad pass, incomplete. The Tigers win the ball game. So great defensive play call by Blake Baker. Great execution by the defense right there. And then the Tigers win the battle of Death Valleys. So next week the Tigers will get to come home to the Palace of Concrete and Steel, where the sun will soon set in the western sky, because it will be Saturday night in Death Valley. And as for the Clemson Tigers, they're going to be all right. They start 0-1. They'll go 11-0 or 10-1 at worst the rest of the year, and probably win the ACC and get a playoff bid. So I'm not too overreacting to Clemson too much right now. So I guess I think Clemson's going to be all right. I really like their schedule. They stay away from Miami, so Florida State about the toughest ACC school on the schedule, and of course you got South Carolina later in the year. So there's that, and here's just a couple. That's my thoughts on Clemson right there. Clemson's going to be fine. Dabo get them headed in the right direction, and they ain't going to be bad at all. Just if you're a Clemson fan, just rough way to start the year. All right, and then that is our Saturday game so far. So let's talk about Sunday real quick. I watched the Virginia Tech South Carolina game. Lenore Sellers looks good. Lenore Sellers looks really good for South Carolina, and I think he's going to be a problem for some teams. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. I'm impressed what South Carolina did. Low scoring first half, 10-8, I think. And then it was like in the fourth quarter, when it was winning time for South Carolina, it was winning time for them. It was punt 80-yard punt return for a touchdown. And then right after that, you get the ball back and you go. It was like 68 or 69 yards for another touchdown, and boom, after uh, you're up 24 or whatever to 8 or something. You're up 24 to 8 at that point, and it was just kind of when South Carolina got to winning time, they did exactly what they needed to. They hit a couple big plays and beat Virginia Tech. So it's good to see South Carolina get an early season win. And then the game of the night was the Catholics versus the Convicts. A renewed rivalry between the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and the Miami University Hurricanes. The Catholics versus the Convicts. The Convicts took the victory last night. And then you had Carson Beck at quarterback for Miami, making his first Miami start. And then you had the freshman for Notre Dame, C.J. Carr, and it looked like Notre Dame was just on the offense side of the ball. It looked like Carr was just looked like he was a freshman and just a little overwhelmed out there at times. And I mean, they had Jeremiah Love he had a couple nice runs, maybe a touchdown or two there. But man, the thing I'm taking about that dude right there is he was at that, especially in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game there, he was trying to hurdle about every defender he's seen in front of him. Yeah, I know it looks stinking cool on the highlight film, and it looks cool like that. But, I mean, he's over there looking like me playing College Football 26, just trying to hurdle people and jump over people. And, I mean, yeah, nothing against that, but, I mean, yeah, it would have been sick if he would have hit one of those. And then what about, I think we have a candidate for catch of the year in that ball game already. How about C.J. Daniels for Miami, just the one-handed leap up, falling back into the end zone, touchdown to, like, in the first half. I mean, what a freaking heck of a catch. I mean, that is catch of the year material right there. I mean, if you did not see C.J. Daniels catch live, if you did not see that catch, well, you should probably get on there and hop on YouTube or X or somewhere and just search that catch, because that was just an insane catch. I mean, that is catch of the year right there. But I like the poise Miami played with, and I mean, I thought Carson Beck from Miami looked good. He was getting the ball out fast. He was getting the ball to his playmakers. I mean, just good for Miami. I can't remember the receiver's name, but he was also all over the place. So, see if I can pull it up. I mean, the other thing is about Miami is that they could go out and do Miami things, but I mean, I thought Beck looked good. I think it was Malachi Tony actually. I mean, he was about Tony was about the biggest difference in that ball game. It felt like every time he caught the football, he was getting 10 yards on the play, it felt like, and it felt like he was really kind of the difference in that football game. But I mean, kind of really balanced for Miami, really. And Notre Dame, I mean, tough way to start their year. I mean, Corey looked like a little overwhelmed in the first half, but man, he finally got it going there late in the second half. And I mean, Miami, they started doing Miami things again, is letting teams back into ball games. And if you remember, Mario Cristobal is the guy that can't take a knee in that game a couple years ago when they end up losing. And again, some terrible clock management by Miami. If you get the ball with 5 minutes left in the ball game, you cannot afford to stand up there, throw the ball. Uh, they actually didn't even throw the ball. It was just, I'm gonna run the ball right up the gut. Terrible clock management with after Notre Dame went after Notre Dame got it within to 7 points. That was just terrible clock management right there. I mean, you were running it up the gut. It was like you're going halfback slam up the gut, or halfback just giving it to your running back for 2 yards. You don't get a first down, and you got a punt. And then what happens? Notre Dame gets the ball back, hits a big play. Couple plays later, C.J. Carr rushes into the end zone, and then you're tied. And then Miami was able to have the poise to go down there and kick the game-winning field goal. But I thought that was one of the better games. I mean, all three or four, all four of these ball games were incredible. Ohio State wins by that's a 7-point game. I mean, LSU Clemson, that's a 7-point game. Miami Notre Dame, that's a 3-point game. I mean, I know Alabama was 14 points. South Carolina kind of put it on Virginia Tech early in the fourth quarter there, but I mean, this was just an excellent opening college football week. I mean, this is the one this is one of the best ones I have probably remember seeing in a long time. This might be the best one ever. I mean, top 10 matchups. Can't complain about that early in the year. I mean, just incredible games, incredible rivalries getting renewed, and it was just an incredible. And the good thing about this is we still got one tonight. The good thing is there is still, after we all have our Labor Day cookouts and our do whatever you gotta do around the house, or plant your flowers, or just do what you gotta do around the house all day. You can we're all gonna be able to unwind about 8 o'clock here later tonight and watch Bill Belichick coach the North Carolina Tar Heels as they go up against the TCU Horned Frogs. So by no means is this weekend over yet in terms of college football, but the first 4 days, it was just absolutely incredible football. And as a college sports fan, I mean, you cannot wait for weekends like this. And next weekend might be a little vanilla, you know. I mean, some of these teams gonna play the rent to win ball games, but just an incredible week of college football. The Tigers win, the Buckeyes win, so it's a great day, great weekend here in the dome, in the podcast dome here in the it's a great weekend when the Buckeyes and the Tigers both win. Everyone is happy in the podcast dome. The Alabama loses. That's another plus. Notre Dame loses. That's another plus. I mean, just incredible week. LSU. Before we get off here, LSU was the only team to win on the road. only team to win on the road. I mean, Texas falls, Notre Dame falls, and Alabama falls. So LSU comes out, and the only team will win on the road and save the SEC from a terrible day. So, I mean, I just had to gloat a little more before I get off here. So, LSU wins. They're 1-0. The Buckeyes 1-0. So, it's a great day here in the state of Ohio as an LSU fan. So incredible week of college football. I mean, we haven't got past tonight yet, but I am waiting until, I can't wait until we start it all over again on Thursday, or if there's a game on whenever the college games start again. But another good thing is, this was the last weekend without NFL football. So now we just get the whole menu, folks. We're just getting the whole menu. So we all better get our cheesy dip and chicken wings and lay on that couch starting on Thursdays all through Mondays, because we got NFL football on Thursday. We got college and NFL, high school on Friday. We got college all day Saturday, NFL on Sunday, Monday night football on Monday. So folks, it is just getting started. The game recaps are just getting started. If you ever want to come to the podcast dome and watch some football games with an incredible host, I got an 80-inch TV down in the living room, so we can have that. We'll watch some college football. Just incredible week so far, and we still got I don't even know how many months we got. We got until stinking February, until the Super Bowl ends. So it is incredible that the college football season is finally kicked off. And I hope you guys enjoy your Labor Day, enjoy your week, and as always, keep on vibing.